Stacy here. Welcome to Pageantry Now. Although today is a very special edition, we are doing a crossover here. Welcome to Pageantry Now. Stick with us right here because you may see some different people that you don't know. Hold tight. Sindel, you are live. Say hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sindel Taylor, and we want to welcome you to a crossover episode with Pageantry Now and the Garden Variety. As those of you guys who already know, I'm Mrs. Pennsylvania Galaxy 2021 and 2022, and we're going to talk to you tonight all about heart health. So I want to introduce you guys to my stellar lineup of pageant queens. First and foremost, we do have a pageant queen who could not be with us tonight, and her name is Evelyn McCleod. So Evelyn, if you are watching this, we just want to wish you a much success in recovery. She is not feeling well tonight, and since this is a heart healthy show, we want to make sure that she is resting and taking it easy. So we love you.
We love you, Evelyn.
We miss you, and you're going to be on soon, so I want you to get better. So I want to introduce you guys tonight to my first guest, Jeri Ward, and I'm going to let her tell you all about herself.
Hello. Thank you so much, Sindel. My name is Jeri Ward. I'm Mrs. Virginia International 2022, and I am a stroke survivor with a platform, A Stroke of Luck. So I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you were able to come on. Jeri, we have such a long history coming from a Mrs. America pageant together where you were Mrs. Ohio and I was Mrs. Pennsylvania. Last year on this show when we did kind of our first very Go Red talk with Stacy on Pageantry Now, and now our third year kind of working together. And I just love what you're doing in the community. And I love that we're still connected in this way of sisterhood and bond that is never going to be broken. So I'm so excited that you're here. My second guest tonight comes from down south in Texas. I don't know actually where she is right now. She could be anywhere in the world. And it is Bia. And I cannot wait for you guys to for her to introduce herself because this is a queen of many talents. And she might have a secret reveal. I don't know if she's revealing it tonight, but I'm going to tease it because she does have an announcement either coming now or coming soon. So Beatriz, tell them all about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Beatriz Flores, but you can call me B. And I am a licensed clinical social worker. I work in suicide prevention at the VA hospital in Seattle. So I currently am in Seattle, but I do travel a lot. So, and I am an officer in the Army Reserve. I am the former Miss Belleza Latina 2020. And the reveal is I am your current Miss Latina Galaxy.
Yay!
Drop live post. You heard it here. She is competing as Ms. Latina Galaxy with me. Woo, woo!
Oh my gosh.
You see me doing my hype dance back here, but it's pretty amazing. Okay.
I
cannot wait to see this beautiful lady again. I can't wait to spend a whole week with you at the international pageant. I'm so excited. Okay. My next guest, guys, is beautiful and blonde, just like me. We got to meet again at the Galaxy pageant last August. We shared a room together. We shared dinner together. We shared a pajama party together. And we just shared a lot of love. And she is actually in the Midwest, so I don't get to see her as often as I'd like. But her name is Miss Autumn. And I'm so glad that she could be with us tonight. Hopefully she'll jump back on. We just lost her technical difficulties. She's not here right now, but we're going to get her back. I'm so excited for you guys to meet Autumn because she's another survivor of a heart condition. Oh, here she is.
I'm so sorry. It kicked me off.
You're back. Oh my God. Perfect timing. I just told them that you were coming on. So introduce yourself, Autumn.
Hi, everybody. I'm Autumn Kastein. I'm your current Mrs. Wisconsin Galaxy 2020, 2021, and 2022. So been at this a while. Thank you, COVID, for the extra little rain that we've had here. where do I even start? Sorry, I got a little kicked off there, and so now I'm out of sorts a little bit, but I'm just so excited to be here. I am a TIA attack survivor. So for those of you who don't know, a TIA attack is essentially a mini stroke. And so I'm just really excited to be here tonight with all these wonderful queens and discuss heart health for the month of February.
I'm so excited that you're here. I'm loving your hair. It looks beautiful.
Thanks.
And my last, I guess, guest / co-host really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to let her introduce herself anyways, and that is the one and only Stacey Simpson. So Stacey, can you take a second to introduce yourself and all of your accolades? 30 seconds or less.
Not going to happen. Hi, I'm Stacey. I am a cancer survivor that has coronary artery disease as side effect and congestive heart failure is a side effect from my original cancer treatments. I am a spokesperson for the American Heart Association. I wear red all month long to be able to raise awareness. And I'm also second time competing for the title of Woman of Impact for the American Heart Association for South Florida. So for me, it is super important. And I'm also the Ms. Achievement World, which my director's here. Oh my gosh. Hi, Diana, who is also a former Mrs. Galaxy. So no stress there.
We got a former
Galaxy girl, bring the galaxy in. And Jeri and I are both like, so anyways, and Pageantry Now is mine, and I'm super excited to be able to have it and excited to have this opportunity again to bring on amazing queens, share their story, share their why. That is what my purpose is. And you all have similar stories and have been affected in ways like I have. So we are here to be able to share education and help each other. That was more than 30 seconds. Anyways, okay, thanks.
I'm over here writing long talker on your score sheet. No, I'm just playing. So it's so funny. As pageant queens, we're so used to being on the timer. So I love joking. So if you guys are just tuning in and you've never seen it, I'm a fun-loving person. I'm a very joking person. I'm a little sarcastic sometimes. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. And I want to tell you guys real quick before we go into the nitty-gritty is in every single segment, I always have something in my background that I want you guys to ask me about. So if you guys haven't tuned into an episode yet, there's a reason that I'm asking you to ask me about it. But today's episode, I need 15 people because I have 5 title holders on that I know are going to ask me about it. So I want you guys to ask me about this photo right here in my background so that I can tell you a little story. So if I get 15 people in the comments that ask me about the photo, I'm going to tell you all about it. If I don't get 15 people, you guys are going to have to wait till the next segment. So make sure you guys ask in the comments. While we're waiting for people to ask Stacey, I really want to talk about the girls' heart health story and why they decided to kind of come on and talk about heart health. And I want to kick it off with Jeri because Jeri is a stroke survivor and I want her to tell her story, and she's doing some really phenomenal work on Capitol Hill. So Jeri, can you tell us a little bit about what kind of happened to you and why is this now this is like your life now? It's things that you do every single day as a title holder, as a mom, as a wife, you know, a fur baby. Like, why? Just tell me your whole why.
Well, where do I even begin? I guess I will start in 2018 of October. I actually suffered a massive ischemic stroke at the age of 30. And I completely lost the ability to speak, move, read, and write. So I was trying to decide on my own body. I went from being an advocate as a social worker and crisis therapist to not being able to even advocate for myself. So obviously this is very near and dear to my heart. And I kind of promised myself that as soon as I can learn how to walk and talk and read and write again, that I would dedicate my life to doing this work. So now I'm truly fulfilling my promise to myself and to other stroke and heart survivors. And I'm taking on the world because I found that there's a lot of awareness campaigns, which is fantastic, and we need that kind of campaign. But I wanted to dive deeper, and I really wanted to make legislation impact so that we can save more lives on a broader basis. So I passed laws in 5 states now. I'm working on a federal law, and I'm speaking to the United Nations in June to kind of tie all of this in together to ensure that we're truly making an impact for stroke survivors and heart survivors all over the world.
Okay, I'm done. Let's go home. Everybody go.
Adult play around. I know it's a lot. It really is a lot. But at the end of the day, every single person's life is worth it. Every single person on this call has had an impact with heart and stroke. And you guys are really my inspiration for this, because I love these individuals that have suffered something so traumatic and something that can be prevented. And I know that Stacey can tell you a little bit later, but 80% of this stuff is preventable. So if we're doing the preventative work, but we also are doing the work on the other end, which is legislative, then we're able to really impact people from all ends of the spectrum.
I love that, Jeri. And I definitely want to talk a little bit more about the specific legislation that you're trying to get to here soon. So because you're definitely doing it, and I see you out there. And I stalk your Facebook, as you already know. We've already done that, but that's so important to me. And so now, I want to go to Beatriz, because Beatriz, for me, it was really important for me to have you on this call for multiple reasons. So number one, just the instant connection that we made at the Galaxy Pageant, but you are representing a Latina community, and that itself is a huge, like kind of thing to overtake. So as someone that's representing that as the new now Miss Latina Galaxy that we had the mic drop moment earlier, her new title, why do you think that this is so important, especially for people that are in your community? Because, when we talk about statistics, 1 out of 3 women are affected by this disease, especially Latina women and especially African-American women. So why did you decide to join our call today? Why is this resonating with you?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, it's super hard to go right after Jeri, because I am fangirling over Jeri.
We all are.
I love the love. Thank you, Beatriz.
Well, I lost my grandmother in 2005. She had a heart attack. And I remember back then, there was a lot of questions across my family, like how and why did this happen? We didn't have any other history of, heart disease or heart attacks in our family. And so I did my research back then, and I found that women are less likely to show warning signs of any kind of heart disease, and they tend to go to the hospital a lot later than men do. And I also learned a lot of the other risk factors, and the ones that we can control, like our lifestyle, our diet and things like that. And I did notice that a lot of Latinos do suffer from heart disease, and a lot of that has to do with our lifestyle and the diet that we have. I also recently found a study that when there is a community where the majority of the population is Latino, there tends to be an even higher percentage of heart disease within that population. So I do think if we are trying to save lives, we really need to do that education in order to create that prevention that Jeri was talking about, focusing on that 80% that can be prevented. So that's why I'm here. I want to do my part to save lives and educate the community.
I just love her. Like honestly, I'm just like, all right, guys, you could just take over the show. This is why this Galaxy crossover, international crossover, PageantryNOW crossover, world achievement, this Red Talk table is so important, because I brought women to you with Stacey's help and everyone on here that really have an impact. And that was so important for me, because it's more than just pageant queens. These are real women, and there's some really BA women. Okay, you guys know the words I'm trying to say, so I don't need to say them out loud, but these are some really phenomenal women. And they're real people, and we're all different ages, we're all different backgrounds, we've come from different communities. And it just makes me so happy that you guys are here and you guys are sharing this. And Beatriz, I don't even know what your actual pageant platform is. I should probably know that. So we're going to talk about that later. And Autumn, you're up next, and I know that you have such a story that I didn't even know about. And we shared a room together. We ate food together and I didn't even know this. So can you tell us a little bit about your story and how this has affected your life?
Sure. Well, first of all, B, congratulations. I was not expecting that. And I'm still like just shook. I'm so excited that you're coming back to Galaxy. Oh my God. For those of you that don't know, I had the pleasure of being one of her judges. So it's really special to see you come back and compete. So very cool. But anyway, I do have a history with stroke and TIA attacks. So at the age of 25, you know, I was a young person living her best life. I actually at the time was working at a gym. I was a manager of a gym, well-known franchise in the US. And so you could pretty much call me at that point in my life like the picture of health. I was working out every day. I was eating healthy. I was a swimmer all through high school and even in college. And I guess I'm just standing here to share with people that this can happen to anybody. It can happen to a young person, an old person, someone who's very physically fit, somebody who's not physically fit. And so I, at the age of 25, suffered what they call a TIA, which is essentially a mini stroke. And mine was actually brought on, we found out later, by a poor chiropractic manipulation of my neck. And so I started having these stroke-like symptoms while I was at work. And again, being a young person who was really physically fit, it never in a million years crossed my mind that I was having a stroke. And I would love to talk about some of the symptoms so that people can become more aware that when it does happen to you, what to expect and what your brain is thinking, or at least for me in my situation during that time, because I just kept thinking, I just feel so out of it. And it was actually my trainer at work that alerted me, like, this something is really off. Like, we need to call an ambulance, or we need to call your parents and get you to the hospital. So I'm excited to share a little bit more about the symptoms. But yeah, over the course of essentially a month and a half, I suffered 4 TIA attacks, and they couldn't figure out what it was that was causing that to happen. And at the end of it, I did end up at Frederick Hospital here in Wisconsin, which is a wonderful hospital. I was in really great hands with my neurologist. I was the youngest person on my floor by 25 years. So the nurses would walk in and just look at me, and, you know, with a TIA attack, your symptoms kind of resolve on their own, and then it can happen again and again. And usually it's a warning sign of a major stroke coming on. And so for me, the nurses would walk in and be like, are you in the right place? Like, are you on the wrong floor? Because it doesn't seem like you're supposed to be here. And so now I have 3 stents in my vertebral artery, and it's something I live with on a daily basis. It has forever changed my life. It's changed, you know, just the physical activities that I can do. It has changed the amount of pain I have on a daily basis. And it definitely changed my outlook on like heart health in general, because if that can happen to me at 25 years old in the prime of my life, when I was my probably most fit and most healthy, it can happen to anybody. So that's what I'm here to share.
I like hearing that, and I've heard it now twice, and each time I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, anytime you're in the hospital, it's tough. But when you're there over the course of like, and I'm sure Jeri, for you, it was an even longer period. But when you're there for a 16-day period and you're being told over and over again, like, things are not resolving, things are not getting better, we need to go back into surgery again, we need to add another stint. It's definitely terrifying. And for us, it was over the Christmas holiday, which is always difficult to be away from family at Christmas time. So I'm so thankful for my doctors and to be here today to talk about it.
Wow. And we're so grateful that you're here with us as well. And, you know, Stacey, I've heard your story. You were on a show of mine before, but I do want to take a moment to allow you to tell your story again, because we first off, we wouldn't even have this show without you, because, you know, we're going live on your StreamYard, we're going live on your show. But especially for those that might be new and haven't seen you yet, tell us a little bit about your journey with heart health.
I always say that I started off as a cancer survivor. That was always my story. Like, I was diagnosed with terminal cancer 25 years ago. And then 11 years ago, I was training for a triathlon. I am a gymnast. I own a gymnastics company, super fit. similar to Autumn, like I was, I'd had cancer, but other than that, I was really active and doing all the things that you do as a gymnast and maintaining my strength and being an active athlete. And I started training for, I don't know, my 5th or 6th my marathon. And in the evenings, every time I laid down flat, I'd start coughing up blood, and I kept saying, "Why is this happening?" Like, so I'd go to the ER, and the ER would go, "No, it's pneumonia," and give me antibiotics and send me home. And for a 6-month period, it kept happening. I would, I'd be exercising, I'd get home, I'd lay down, start coughing up blood again. And finally, a doctor said, "Has anybody checked your heart?" And I said, "Well, no. I mean, I had cancer. Like, do you think I had cancer of my heart?" And he said, "No. The medications that you were treated with, the chemotherapy, can actually affect your heart health." And I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And at that point, my heart function was about 30%, and they put me on medication. And I went back to being active and had a normal life. And I went back, decided I was not going to do a marathon. Maybe 26.2 wasn't good, so I would do a triathlon this time. And in 2011, a year later, I was hit by a truck riding my bicycle, and everything kind of fell apart from that moment on. My heart function dropped to 10%. I was given a defibrillator and pacemaker on Valentine's Day 2012. So I just had my 10-year anniversary of getting my defibrillator. And they told my then boyfriend that I was probably going to die in a few weeks, to just be prepared for it, that I wouldn't survive. I probably wouldn't get a heart in time. And he proposed, and we got married. And then a young man suggested I try stem cells to fix the problem with my heart. And I had always heard about stem cells for cancer treatments, but I never heard of stem cells for cardiac issues. And I was like, I don't have cancer anymore. And they worked very, very hard to get me into the program because previously, most research programs are made specifically for men. They are not meant for women's parameters. So my heart was too small as a female to be able to get me into the study, to be able to receive my own stem cells to fix the problem to my heart. So my doctor fought for me, went to the National Institute of Health. There is an exception that is named after me that allowed other women to be able to get cardiac stem cells. And I am proud to say that my heart function is at 47% now, which it changed my life. I can't even believe that was in 2014. The other thing to this that's strange is that when they were giving me the cardiac stem cells, one of the doctors, when they were doing it, found a blockage to my left main, which was a 90% blockage, which normally would have killed me. So with all of the activity I was doing, I would have just dropped dead without any notice. And so I ended up having a double bypass surgery in 2015. So crazy things happen, but they are miracles. And I have given my efforts and my life to trying to be able to raise awareness, be able to change other women's lives, let other people know that as healthy as you are, that you can do small changes to your life and actually correct problems before they happen, so that you're not in a situation like any of us are, where we've had situations where we thought, we weren't at risk, and we actually were. So that is really what I do with Women of Impact. That is what I do with my entire month of educating. And Heart Month shouldn't just be in February. It should be every month. And Stroke Month shouldn't just be in May. It should be every month. We should be fighting to be able to give the information so that we are all stronger together and surviving together and doing and making an impact together. So.
Well, I don't know about you, Stacey, but I see 5 powerhouses on this call making an impact, and I'm sure that there's many more watching. And I'm just, again, like I said, I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. So for those of you guys who don't know, I want to just take a second to tell you guys my story. My journey was a little bit different from everybody else's. So my journey with heart health actually started with my dad. In 2005, my dad suffered a heart attack and stroke that left him completely paralyzed on the left-hand side for the remainder of his life, actually. some years later, I was actually at work one day. I was checking customers in, and all of a sudden my heart started fluttering really, really fast. I actually thought I was having a heart attack at the time. And I just remember being extremely winded. I felt these weird compressions on my chest. And I actually finished work and then went to the hospital, which now looking back at it was so crazy that, I just kind of chalked it up to like not feeling well, as us women do. And I found out that I have something called MVP, which does not stand for most valuable player. It actually stands for mitral valve prolapse, which means I have a leaky valve in my heart. So for a whole year, actually right before I went to Mrs. America, I wasn't allowed to work out at all for the entire year of my reign. I wasn't allowed to work out, wasn't allowed to lift one weight. And then 3 months before I went to Mrs. America, they're like, okay, you can start doing these little things, but you have to be hooked up to this big giant machine and do all these crazy things. So now, I'm happy to say that, I have no regurgitation. At this point, I don't need surgery because I've made some small changes in my life to my exercise, my nutrition, my diet, and things like that. And, I still get to be with you guys today. But unfortunately, in 2020, my dad actually had COVID and he got over COVID. But unfortunately, his underlying heart condition wasn't strong enough to keep fighting. And unfortunately, he lost his life in 2020 fighting that disease and fighting that. And he passed away. And so I started in 2021 an online social media movement. It's a hashtag movement called Show Us Your Heart, where I invited queens and kings from all across the world to show me a video or a picture of something every day that makes them heart healthy. And the goal was just to get the information out there. And it was really awesome because my goal was to get like 10 people. I ended up getting 75 people, which was awesome because I ended up making my goal 74, which would have been how old my dad was. And I actually hit it on his birthday, which was really cool. And then in 2022, I was like, okay, what can I do now? Because every single day I'm actually working at my day job. So I was like, okay, what way can I do it now? And we're still in this pandemic. We're still like not able to be in person as much as we want to. So I was like, you know what? Let me start my own TV show, podcast, blog, whatever you want to call this. And I dreamt it up with Evelyn McCleod, who unfortunately cannot be on the show tonight. And together with her, Amanda Schumacher, and Evelyn's sister, Jackie, we came up with this concept of the garden variety, where we wanted to showcase the roots of everything that I was involved in, but all kind of stemming from this place of heart health. So I'm just excited to hear your guys' stories. I'm excited to hear how we've evolved as women. And I can't wait to hear, what's next. So next, I want to talk to you guys about something a little off heart health because, I want to make it a little lighthearted. So I want to know, why did you choose your specific pageant? So there are 3 of us that are in the Galaxy pageant, but I really do want to know why Galaxy? Why, Jeri, for you, Mrs. International? Stacey, I know you already won your title, but I still want to know, like, what led you to Achievement World? So Beatrice, Jeri, I want to start with you because I know you have to jump off. Jeri, why did you choose the international system? And what do you love the most about being Mrs. Virginia International?
So I chose the international system because at the end of the day, I don't really care about a pageant. What I care about is my platform, because my platform was here way before I became Mrs. Virginia International, and it will be here way after I'm Mrs. Virginia International, hopefully Mrs. International in July. And what the international system is all about is platform, because they want to create change makers, and that is exactly what I am. So I figured, what better of a system than international for me to do? They really appreciate strong, like-minded women who want to make the world a better place, and they found it. So for me, that was a perfect fit. I don't ever have a desire to go to a different system. This is my system, and if I do well, I do well, and if I don't, I don't. But at the end of the day, they believe in me, they believe in what I stand for, and that's all I need in a system, is to empower me and to empower stroke survivors all over the world. My favorite part about me being Mrs. Virginia is that I was born there, I was raised there, I went to school there, college there, for me, being a Virginia title holder means the world because, once again, it's so much bigger than just a pageant. It's representing my people, my home, is representing more rural parts of Virginia where heart and stroke health are awful right now. We have people dying by boatloads because they do not have access, they do not have education, they do not have availability to understand heart and stroke. And so for me, getting down and dirty into those areas where they need the most help, that is what it's all about for me. So being in Virginia, just it thrills my heart. Being Mrs. International, it's fantastic, but being Mrs. Virginia is like icing on the cake for me. And I'm just so glad to be able to give back. And people have been with me from the start. They see me grow up there. They saw my fall during my stroke. And now they're seeing me overcome and stand up for people just like themselves. And I'm just honored. I really am.
And Jeri, I know your platform, but since we're talking about platform, what's the name of your platform? And I want to know about this bill that you're pushing.
Yeah, so my platform is called Stroke of Luck. And the reason that I came to that name 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, is because I realized that I just got lucky. I really did. And while I'm so thankful and blessed to have been as lucky as I was, I realized that a lot of people, 40 seconds, everyone has a stroke, and 1 in 4 die from a stroke. They don't get as lucky as I did. So I don't want others to have to rely solely on luck to stay alive. So my platform really is about education and action. And my action piece, like I said, I do awareness, but the larger part of my action is actually changing laws. So my stroke bill is for stroke transportation. So currently in the United States, most states do not have stroke legislation for transportation. So if a person calls in having a stroke, they call into the EMS, they are currently taken to the closest hospital to be admitted. Well, when you have almost 2 million brain cells dying per minute, you don't have time to waste. And so as a survivor of stroke, my delays and my difficulties and my severity of my stroke was due to the fact that I took so long, 5 days to be exact, to get to the hospital. And then on top of that, I went to the wrong hospital, a level 2 hospital instead of a level 1, and then I had to be transferred. So that ended up being my reason that I had a loss of movement, speech, reading, and writing. And I was trapped inside my own body because laws were not in place. And so my laws allow for EMS to receive education and funding to ensure that stroke patients, if they're diagnosed having a stroke in the EMS, they get to the best suited hospital to be able to get that thrombectomy procedure, which is a catheter-based procedure that actually goes into the body and takes the blood clot out of the brain, reducing time and blood loss, and hopefully increasing survival and recovery rates. So that's what I do. That's what I'm about. And, 5 states down, a few more to go. So
I love that. I love that. And that, literally, it's just amazing to hear. You are literally, figuratively out there hitting the ground running. It's amazing. I love it. And guys, if this is not transportating, I'm over here happy dancing as she's talking. I'm like cheering her on. So Beatrice, one thing that Jeri mentioned, that resonated with what you also said was the lack of transportation, the lack of community, the lack of care. So, I know that I want to know about your platform, but I also want to know about, ways that you're in your community changing lives every single day. So tell me about your specific platform and why you chose Galaxy, and what are you really doing in your community?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was introduced to the Galaxy system through the Belleza Latina system. And it took me twice to win the Belleza Latina title. And when I became Belleza Latina Queen, I loved it so much because it opened so many doors and opportunities for me to really reach more people at a grander scale. My platform is breaking the stigma surrounding mental illness. I am a licensed clinical social worker and focus on suicide prevention. And I really want to do my best to save as many lives as possible. I go out in the community and I educate different organizations or groups or just individuals on the signs, symptoms of mental illness, as well as how to get access to care, so that if someone is struggling and if there's anything that we can do to intervene to prevent them from going through their suicide ideation, then that's something that we can do collectively and help prevent. And so I chose the Galaxy system because Maria asked me. She gives the opportunity. She gives the opportunities to their Bella Latina queens to compete as Miss Latina Galaxy in her pageant. And I'm really aligned with Maria and her vision for the Galaxy and the Bella Latina pageants because she cares about service. She wants a working queen. And, the vision is the strength of tomorrow lies with the women of today. And I strongly believe that it's the actions that we are doing as queens in the community to really make a difference. So when she asked me if I wanted to, compete as Miss Latina Galaxy, I definitely could not turn down that opportunity because it's another opportunity to continue to educate as many people, reach as many people but now at a grander international Galaxy scale.
I love that. And, one of the things that I love about having you on tonight is, with the Garden Variety, we focus on wellness, which does talk about mindset. And on the last show, we were talking just briefly about, things that were recently happening in pageantry. So for those of you guys who aren't aware, a really big name in pageantry actually, unfortunately committed suicide. And what I love about that is that it's not only that you're trying to have a conversation about it, you're actually taking action and you're actually in your community and doing those things. And I really applaud you because, as a mother of someone who has, a behavioral health disability that is actually stems from a neurological disability, it is very challenging to have that conversation, number one. Number two, it's challenging sometimes for the person to even identify that they're having those thoughts and those identifiers. But it's also hard to have that conversation with somebody that maybe just come up to you, whether it's, someone in school or, a nurse or doctor or even a police officer, to have to identify yourself as, hey, I am somebody that struggles with mental health, which therefore can signify to them, okay, I need to take a different approach with them. I need to maybe do things a little bit differently than off the book. So that's so important to me. So as a mom of a little boy who is 14 years old that suffers from a neurological disorder and a behavioral disorder, I applaud that because we need people like you in our environment. And I'm so happy that we could be on. So Miss Autumn, I know so much about you already. Like I know all about you already, but tell me about your platform. You are also a working queen, and why Galaxy?
Well, I will start with, if it's okay, I'll start with why Galaxy because that kind of ties into what made me choose my platform. So I started in the Galaxy system. I'm about to actually celebrate my 14th year anniversary in the Galaxy system. I started way back in 2008 and I was only 18. Well, gosh, now I'm going to age myself, but I was only 18 years old. And I chose Galaxy initially because in the state of Wisconsin, it was one of, I think, 3 systems that actually held a state pageant. So really, in reality, we didn't have a ton of opportunity here if you wanted to compete in person and win a state title to go to a national or international level pageant. And so it was only the second pageant I had ever done. Truth be told, I had no idea what I was doing, not a clue. I was raised in a very small town in Northeast Wisconsin. And when I tell you I came from humble beginnings, I mean that in order to compete at my state pageant, I had to actually collect aluminum cans to raise money to compete in my state pageant because we just didn't have the funds to drop on the entry fee. And so that taught me, even just entering at the state level taught me so much about setting a goal for yourself, working hard, and no matter what background you come from or financial situation you come from, if you want something bad enough, you can achieve that goal. And so that was one of the very first lessons that my parents taught me as a young woman is you can do this, and we're going to support you, but you're going to have to pay for it yourself. And so getting through that state pageant and then having the opportunity to go as Miss Wisconsin Galaxy, which I actually have my very first crown, Galaxy crown. It's the old school Galaxy crown right here. Having that opportunity to go to the international pageant, again, I was so excited to be Miss Wisconsin. Like that was my dream. That was what I wanted. That was what I had worked so hard for, was just that state title. So I never really at that point in my life thought about, okay, what comes after Miss Wisconsin? What is that next step going to be like? And so when I got to, hi Maria, well, I'm about to talk about you. When I got to that international level, I mean, here I am, this small town girl from Wisconsin in, I kid you not, a Goodwill dress and borrowed shoes that were borrowed from my mom's closet and just probably $5 in my pocket. I remember sitting in that orientation and looking around at these women and thinking to myself, I do not belong here. I don't belong here. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as fake eyelashes or a fake spray tan or, all the elements that go into the beauty side of pageantry. And in my heart of hearts, I felt like that was an insecurity on my part. I felt like I don't belong here. But never, ever, ever in that entire week was I made to actually feel that way by anyone on staff, by another contestant, or by my director. From the second that I walked into that room, I was family. I was considered a Galaxy girl. That's, you see Maria hashtagging it, Galaxy girl forever. I was considered family. I was embraced, and I was never meant to feel like I wasn't enough, or that I didn't deserve to be there, or that I wouldn't win. I was just fully embraced that entire week. And it didn't matter to me if I walked out of there with absolutely nothing, or if I walked out of there with that international crown. I just loved the feeling of family. And even for years after that, I would watch these women and I would learn and I would grow and I would set goals for myself to just become a better person, just an all around better person in my everyday life, physical health, a leader in my community, you name it. This system gave me so much and so many opportunities. In fact, after getting married, I actually competed at Mrs. Wisconsin Galaxy because it was still around at that time in the state of Wisconsin. And I was first runner up to the beautiful Janie Black. Shout out Janie, love you. And I also competed at Mrs. Midwest Galaxy, where I was first runner up to, again, beautiful friend of mine, Sherry Jenkins. And so at this point in my marriage and my life, after becoming a mom, I just feel like I'm in a different place in my life. And it was time for me to come back to the Galaxy system after so many years of trying to get back to that international level. And here I am as your Mrs. Wisconsin Galaxy for 3 years running. And I'm just so happy to be back because it feels like I never left. It feels like, like it was in 2008. I've stayed in touch with Maria and stayed in touch with my Miss Galaxy, Jennifer Ruiz. And just some of these people have become my very best friends in my entire world. So anyway, backing up to my platform though, I don't want to take too much of your time, but my platform over the years from an 18-year-old on, somebody that came from very humble beginnings that didn't have $1 million in their pocket and had to earn every single dollar that it took to get to the Galaxy system. My platform is called Step Forward, Pay It Forward, creating a generation of givers through leadership. Because one of the things that I learned through pageantry is the importance of service. And it's not just about serving others. It teaches you so much about yourself and creates these network opportunities and just doors that open for you that you would never, ever, ever expect when you're giving back to other people. And again, has brought me some of the most wonderful people that I will cherish forever in my life. And so I wanted to make sure that once I learned that lesson, I passed it on to our youth so that our youth can become a generation of givers and they can find these opportunities that will benefit them, not just in the immediate, but in the future and in their future goals as well. So my platform focuses a lot around, inner city children, impoverished youth, families or single mothers that are in need. And thankfully, I own several businesses in the state of Wisconsin that can provide clothing, shoes, school supplies, you name it. We do all different kinds of drives, donations, and fundraisers through my business and throughout the year to empower these kids and these families and these women to go after their goals in life. So I'm just so thankful to be here and thankful that pageantry has not just become a hobby of mine, but it's truly been my life. It's been my entire life, and it eventually helped me to create my business. So that's just, a little bit about me in the Galaxy system. So
I love it. And guys are seeing why I have these phenomenal women on. These women are truly just amazing women. And Stacey, I'm gonna pause on you for just 1 second. I promise I'm getting to you. So first off, I want to catch you guys up on some of the comments if you guys aren't able to see them. We have another Galaxy girl, Sheena Landry Rubin, who's on. Specifically, she said she's so excited to meet you, Autumn. I don't know if you got to see that. Our CEO and director is on. She's also asking if she can tell me about the photo. So guys, I have like 4 girls right now, plus my contestants on. So we're at 5, 6, 7, 8. We're at 8 girls. So we need 2 more girls, 2 more people.
Do I count? Can I ask about it? Do I count as one?
No, you guys all count. You guys all count. So if you guys
I can't wait to meet you, Sheena.
Photo, I'm going to tell you about it. So Sheena, we're so excited to meet you. Both. I love that you are also newer to the Galaxy system too. So I can't wait. So hello,
I'm gonna love it.
Galaxy girls, and my other 2 beautiful ladies. We don't want to forget about them because even though they're not exactly Galaxy, they're still our family, because I've just made such a connection to them and we just bring them in anyways. So make sure you guys ask me. Maria's now asking what's with the photo. Okay. All right. So Maria makes 10. Maria is the boss.
I feel like Maria counts as 2 or 3.
Yeah,
she's your director. So
I need to know about this photo. So
she gets bonus points.
We're gonna pause. I'm gonna
ask about the photo.
We're gonna bring it down. So of course, I had to hang my sash up, guys. Okay, I had to hang it up. Let me get it because you guys got to see it. Because you guys got to see it up close. Okay, so we all know Valentine's Day just passed. So my photo is a beach, and this is my husband. My husband's name is Kenny. Hopefully he's watching and he's not angry at me. And then if you guys don't know, I actually spell my name like this outside of pageant life because nobody can pronounce my name. So I spell it how it's phonetically sounds, which is Sindel. And this is our anniversary date. And so, I wanted to celebrate him because on this specific past, because he was really there when I had my heart and heart issues, and he's just been there. So, 2 hearts kind of join. But, this is my little shout out to him. Happy Valentine's Day, babe. I love you so much. You are my rock. I always call him my knight in camel armor. And actually during our international pageant, we will actually be celebrating our anniversary right after that. So I'm going to be celebrating my anniversary with you guys at Galaxy, which is really cool. So that's about my photo. Not a heartfelt fact, but just a little sentimental moment here that I had to shout him out on. So that's my photo. I always like to have weird things. Okay. So Stacey, I want to talk to you about why did you choose Miss Achievement World? Because Mrs. Achievement World, it's a newer system, if I'm correct. So tell me a little bit about your choice to do that and all about your fabulous director, even though I know all about her anyways.
Well, truthfully, Achievement World has been around for a while. It took a little bit of a vacation. So, Diana, can I explain it all? Maria, you're on too. So this is part of your story. Real crossover. So originally there was a system called Mrs. American Achievement. And I had heard about it online when I came back to pageantry at the age of 35. And I was like, I want that title. I want that title. I saw Diana as a queen, as Mrs. American Achievement. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really what I want to do. I want to win this title. And when I got up the guts to finally compete, it switched and became a live pageant and became actually Mrs. Galaxy. It became the Galaxy pageants. And then my beautiful director, Diana Lawrence, won the title of Mrs. Galaxy. And I was competing in another system, and she was the MC with my friend Annie Hudgens, who is also the Ms. Achievement Latina. She was Belleza Latina before, so she is part of Galaxy as well. And I met them both at this pageant that I fell on my face, literally on stage in evening gown. And they were so wonderful and supportive and fantastic. And I was in such awe and so grateful for her friendship. And over the years, we've done different activities together. We went to Miss Universe together. Maria actually was crowned by Diana. And then Maria took over the system when Diana was finished as Mrs. Galaxy. So Maria became the director, and that is where her story is. And in the meantime, Diana was working very, very diligently to start Dr. World. And and she developed Dr. World Productions, and that came out 2 years ago, and then decided that because a lot of her friends and people had said, hey, what about those of us that are not doctors? Because I think that she's a doctor. I think that it is a fantastic system. I love everything that she's building and the world she's creating for doctors, but achievement was still part of her heart. And I had her on as a guest, and she's like, oh, I started Achievement World again. And I went, wait, what? Hold on, wait, how do I do this? So I always say now I'm a Galaxy girl. I mean, I've judged for Galaxy. Maria knows I love her. I adore her. I adore the system. I think that it's fantastic to be able to have these amazing women on and to share their stories and to share the 20 years of history, which is what? Let's hear it. Like,
20 anniversary.
Happy anniversary. So I am planning on going to international, so I get to see everybody. But to me, it's like when I wear my title, my crown, I'm a Galaxy girl too. But I mean, I've met all of you. Well, Sindel, you should tell us why you chose Galaxy.
I will. Did we lose Jeri?
Yeah, we did. I think she had to, she had to leave.
I know Jeri had to leave. So Jeri, I know you had to leave. We love you. I hope I get you kind of come back on, because I had one more question I wanted to ask you, but that's okay. I know Jeri had another event to go to. And I will share with you guys why I actually chose Galaxy, and it has to do with like not believing it's true. So fun fact, Maria Torres, who's actually online, was Mrs. Galaxy 2005. Little did she know that in 2005, our lives were officially destined to meet. I always think it's ironic when you think back to things. In 2005 is when my dad had his heart attack and stroke. And I really believe that this is a system that I was meant to do. I started watching this system a long time ago, and I never knew that they allowed single mothers to compete. And so for the longest time, I was a single mom. My husband and I actually just got married 6 years ago. So I've only ever competed in Mrs. pageants because I didn't know that Ms. was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. And I didn't know that there was a Ms. system that allowed single moms to compete. I didn't know that. So I started watching the Galaxy system, and I was just adored with the title holders that she was actually crowning. There was girls that were short. There were girls that were tall. There were girls that were bigger. There were girls that were plus size. There were girls that were blonde. There were girls that like literally I could see everyone in my life on that stage. And I competed in another system, and I had something kind of negative happen to me where I was actually told by a judge, actually several judges, that in order for me to even do well in this system, that I would need liposuction, like told to my face. And that really kind of hurt because I had worked really hard. Keep in mind that I wasn't allowed to work out for a year, and I am only like a size 6'8", so I'm really not big in any means. And you know, I got thick thighs, okay, and I got a butt, and I have hips. You've got two kids. I have 2 kids and a husband that go along with it. And when I saw that Galaxy had women that really looked like me, that was my first initial like, I'm gonna watch it. But then I was like, it's too good to be true. Like, there's no way that this system that has fashion, which I love fashion, I'm a model by trade, that has interview, which, you know, I love to talk, that has a passion for serving the community. That's literally all I do every day is serve the community. I'm a teacher by trade. It literally, every component was everything that I was. I'm like, this cannot be true. This has to be fake. Then I heard about how wonderful it was. And I'm like, are these people getting paid to say this thing? I'm like, this cannot be real. Like, you know, that saying, it's too good to be true. It's not. It's totally not. And the minute that I said, I'm going to do it, Crystal KB actually finally got me to rip off my Band-Aid. So shout out to Crystal, the current Mrs. Galaxy. And I literally dived in head first, thinking that I was going to compete last August. I had like 3 months. So I'm like literally like diving in. I'm like, okay, I got to get a gown. Okay, I got to get this. Okay, I got to get a swimsuit, and it's got to be fabulous because I can't go to Marie's pageant if I'm not fabulous. You know, and then I was like, okay, I got a breath because COVID had a delay, and I was just so grateful. I'm just so grateful because the minute I entered, I've been just surrounded by love. I've had girls from different countries, different states reach out to me. And we've just really created this bond that, yes, I've experienced in other pageants, but not to this degree. And when I say that you are family, you are family. I had COVID recently in the beginning of the year, and I had a lot of girls reaching out to me, asking me if I was okay, offering to send me scoop via mail, which was awesome, checking in on me. And then, this past month, I started Galaxy Goes Red on a whim. I was talking to Crystal about it, and I was like, hey, what do you think if I do this? And she was like, yeah, go for it. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I might get like 5 girls. And I literally have almost 60 girls right now, over almost 60 Galaxy contestants and Best Latina girls as well that are actually participating in the Galaxy Goes Red. And I might have thrown my director in there as well. She didn't know that she was going to be in it, by the way. But I posted her for Valentine's Day because she emulates, to me, what a true Mrs. Galaxy represents. She emulates the love in her family. She emulates the time. She emulates the work that she puts into it. And I just love watching her social media. I love how she interacts with her grandson. I love how she interacts with her queens. And I was like, yeah, that's something that I want to be a part of. That's where I belong. And I think she's stuck with me now. So sorry,
she's stuck with all of us.
She's stuck with all of us. Yeah.
I just tell you, that's the most wonderful thing about this system is that the reason you have so many girls is because it is a family, and everyone wants to see each other succeed. Everybody wants to truly, not just to get an appearance or just to get on a live. They want to see each other succeed. They want to support these other women. They want to see their projects that they're doing flourish in the community. And see, you've joined the family. This is exactly what I was talking about. It really is. And yeah, you're stuck with us too. So sorry.
It's just such an amazing feeling to feel like my voice is now immensely, like I have a freaking surround sound now. Like, we always talk about our crown and sash being a microphone. I got an amplifier, like, because I got girls everywhere that are helping me as a title holder. To me, that is so humbling. I'm so grateful. Actually, both of you are also, have participated. I literally am pinching myself. I'm like, did this actually happen? I like pinch myself every day that I'm going to post people. And I'm like, this is not real. It's just phenomenal. And I'm just so grateful to both of you as well, just for accepting me, Maria for starting this pageant. So it's just amazing. So I know
she just took it over. I'm sorry. I'm going to Maria, I love you. She didn't start it.
Correct me. Yes. Thank
Her
you.
story. So, and one of the things that's very important for Maria is knowing the history of Galaxy. So if you are competing for a Galaxy title, as a previous judge, I will tell you that one of the most important pieces is knowing how the system started, who the previous queens are, and how they have made a difference. Because it is really, really important to pass that crown on and the legacy that goes from queen to queen to queen. And that, to me, is what makes it family. Like, I just, Diana knows I love her. And I do. And Maria knows I love her. And I am like so Stephanie says, know the system. Thank
She's
you,
like, we're all in our fields. And
we're all in our fields. But yes. I know. And I feel so bad. Lori started it, but Maria kicked it up. I don't ever know if I can mention Lori or not, Diana. That is the only reason I did it. But yeah. So homage, if you don't know, look it up. Look up the history, because this really is a system that is built on service and love and women of heart, soul, and that to me is like nothing else. And that is why I'm Diana's forever queen too. I know. Thanks, Diana.
I love that. And I know we're talking about, you said, you actually hit it right there. You said girls with a heart. I keep saying this over and over and over again. We've had 5 really powerful women on tonight. We were supposed to have 6. So again, I just want to say, shout out real quick again to Jeri. Thank you guys so much for being on. Evelyn, we're all here wishing you that you get better quickly. We miss you. We love you. Again, for those of you guys who are turning in, Evelyn could not join us tonight. She was getting sick and she's not feeling well. So this is all about health. So we want her to get better. So I'm going to let you guys go. But before I let you guys go, I want you guys to spit out your one heart health fact that you want someone tonight to take away. One fact. Okay. Now, if somebody else says it, you can't use it. Okay. So that's also how this is going to work. So I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to start with Bia.
One heart health fact is that diet is very important. Minimizing food that has a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, a lot of cholesterol is important for your heart health. So eat healthfully.
I love that. And you are also, I need to shout out too that you might be in the military. I just need people to know that because my husband's also in the military. So can you tell everybody your rank and that too? Because I just need you to own all your wonderfulness.
Sure. I'm a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve, and I'm currently the battalion commander for the 319th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion.
Okay.
Coming to Seattle. Still coming to Seattle. There's been a pandemic.
So I love saying that because I watch her like in camo and then I watch her like change, and I just love that. Being a military spouse, you know, I appreciate what you do and what you are doing for not only myself, but everyone else around here. So I know thank you is so generic because I can say so much more than that, but I really appreciate what you have given us. So, you know, there's that. Autumn, you're next. Because I know Stacy has facts and I know you do too. But...
I would say that one of my, maybe a little bit not relating to diet and exercise, I want to go a different route. I would say find things that reduce stress, because stress is one factor that contributes to, you know, things like heart attack, stroke, that sort of thing. So I think that you need to take time to de-stress your life and take you time when needed, in addition to the diet and the exercise piece.
And I know earlier you wanted to talk about the stroke acronym for signs and symptoms. So can you give us the acronym for the stroke awareness?
Oh, me? That wasn't me.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that anyway.
I don't know what it stands for.
I wasn't going to do that. No, I wasn't going to. I was like, the acronym. No, I wasn't going to do the acronym, but I was going to talk about just symptoms in general. So for me, I think it's important for people to understand that when you're having and again, I can only speak for a TIA attack because that's what I had. I did not have a full-on stroke. Mine is considered a mini stroke. But some of the symptoms that I personally had were things like extreme, and again, you're going from kind of 0 to 10 or 0 to 100 in a matter of minutes. So you're feeling fine 1 minute and then you start feeling these things. So for me, things were blurred vision, wavy lines in your vision. So you might be able to see clear, but then there's like wavy bright lines through the middle of your vision. Slurred speech is obviously always a symptom or a sign of stroke. Just extreme fatigue was another one. Extreme fatigue, just feeling very out of body and out of place, almost as if I guess the closest thing you can equate it to is if you're drunk. Like you go from being completely sober to I feel drunk and I don't know where I am and everything's blurry and I'm dizzy. So those were some of the symptoms that I experienced and didn't quite understand what was going on because, again, you're not thinking clearly. Your brain is not working the way that it's meant to function. And so just being aware that when you start feeling those things that are not normal, you need to alert somebody so that they can help you because you're not thinking clearly.
I love that. And that was actually what I wanted to get out of you, is that when you notice something that isn't normal, say something.
Yeah.
Okay,
because I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think a lot of times people, like you mentioned, or Jeri mentioned earlier, as women, we're like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm going to push through this. I'll feel better later. Like these are major symptoms. It's not just like, oh, I have a little cough. This is your vision is blurred. Your thinking is not clear. You're feeling lethargic. You're feeling almost drunk or out of body. Like these are major symptoms. Please don't brush them off and not take them seriously because again, it can, even a TIA attack can be a sign of an oncoming full-on stroke. So that might have been your warning sign and you missed it. So take those symptoms very seriously and get yourself to a doctor. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
I love that. You didn't cut me off. You can talk whenever you want, girl. This is like, you know, we're chilling with friends on Zoom. So Stacey, what's your one fact that you want everyone to take away from tonight?
The one thing that most people don't know is that most women, when they're in a situation of having cardiac arrest or they're having a stroke and they're unconscious, will not receive CPR because people are afraid of hurting them. People are afraid of doing the compressions and actually damaging their ribs or hurting their heart. And more women die from lack of assistance than anything else when it comes to a situation that could have been alleviated. So learning hands-only CPR saves lives. You don't ever have to put your lips on somebody. You put your hands together, you lock your elbows, you do compressions in the middle of their chest as long as you can to the beat of Staying Alive. So if you just remember, staying alive, until help can get there, you can save a life.
Mic drop moment right there. I love what you said because, you know, that's a huge staple of something that I promote myself is hands-only CPR. I'm also in the works of becoming a certified American Heart instructor for CPR. I currently teach the CPR Anywhere, which is just with friends and family. It doesn't certify people, so that's my next step. And so I want to do a fact for Jeri because she's not on. So I'm going to do her fact, which I know her number one fact is learning the acronym for a stroke, which is FAST. So the first one is F is facial drooping. So one side of the face or sometimes one lip or eye will start to droop. And you can notice that very way. The second one is your arm numbness. So when you're actually talking to someone who's actually going through a stroke, if you can ask them to take their arm straight out, you actually see one drop lower because their arm is very weak and they're not able to hold it up. Slurred speech, as Autumn mentioned, is the S. So when you hear somebody slurring their words that normally doesn't, you definitely want to make note of that. And then the T is time to call 911. The time you take to call 911, like Jeri mentioned, can be the difference of saving somebody's life. 80% of these are totally preventable. 80% of cardiovascular disease is totally preventable. So just by simply adding one or two things that not only we've mentioned tonight, but just taking a look at the lifestyle changes that you can do is one step. You know, when Beatrice mentioned putting in stuff in place in her community, when Autumn mentioned, you know, listening to her body, Stacey, when you mentioned simply going on the American Heart Association's website right after this live, you can learn CPR. I'm going to do this. Enter the link here because, you know, that's what I always do on videos. Take 2 minutes and you can learn how to save somebody's life. That's so important to me. And I hope that you guys, you know, took something away from this tonight. Ladies, honestly, I love you guys so much. I love all of you so much. I cannot wait to just run up and attack you guys at the International Pageant. For everyone who's watching, you know, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to spend tonight. We know we went over an hour, but that's okay. We're having a great conversation. And just thank you guys so much. I hope you guys tune into the next episode of either Pageantry Now. Right, this way. She's this way. The screen.
Hi, that's me.
Or that's her. Or the garden variety. So thank you guys so very much. Love you guys.
Brady Bunch. There we go. Which way? Love you.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Fabulous weekend. So bye, ladies.
Bye. Have a great night.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate it. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow us, follow Sindel, follow all of our journeys. You can find us in all kinds of different places. We will share it all. These are amazing women with amazing stories. Thank you all for being part of my life. I am so grateful for all of you. So thanks so much. Bye.